Hi there, I'm Michelle Buetow, and I'm a mom of 2 kids living in Eastlake. I'm running for position number 3, which is the most oddly shaped of the Seattle school districts. That's Northeast Seattle, North Capitol Hill, Eastlake, Montlake, South Lake Union, and then on down into a big portion of downtown. And just for your background, the 4 seats that are up for re-election are basically north of the Ship Canal and then West Seattle. So why does that matter to you? Let me tell you a little bit about my kids' school. My kids go to TOPS, 6 and an 8-year-old, and half of our school draws from the southeast. It's a K-8 school. Why does it draw heavily from the southeast? Because families don't feel like they can get an education in their own backyard that is what they want for their kids. And while I'm thrilled at the diversity in our school, I'm saddened by the fact that families feel like they need to put their kids on a bus for an hour still after, with reference to the 1967 comment after all these years. So something I'd ask all of you to do is to take a look at the incumbents and the challengers and see which of those folks you think are going to be taking a citywide look at the issues and not just serving the constituents within their own geographic area. For myself, I'd like to point to a few things I've been doing with the Southeast already. One is a year ago, behind the scenes, some board members floated the idea that never made it public to close Rainier Beach High School again. Some very committed moms that work with the school and have been working without the resources of the district have advocated heavily and came to some of the concerned citizens on the north end and said, what can we do? We need time, we need money, we need community partnerships, we need full attention after all these years to make the best of this school. And so that was stopped. And I was involved with that. A second thing that I've done is to work very hard when we went back to neighborhood assignment plans to hold the district accountable, to have roadmaps for successful programming and successful interventions with struggling students for families in the Southeast. I was in favor of a return to neighborhood schools, primarily because the district cannot afford transportation. The funds have been cut off from the state. However, I asked and continue to ask that it comes with a roadmap for each school, and I mean especially in the southeast and southwest areas of our city. A third part is when TOPS was denied a bunch of its busing, regional busing, what our school board asked was that for our kids, they'd be grandfathered in for a year, maybe 2, and then busing be stopped. At the same time, for the Southeast kids, they did not make a priority to return to neighborhood schools. So if you had a school that was doing well and was crowded and you weren't in an entry-level grade, that's first or going into middle school, there was no guarantee that you'd get into your school. So not only were they taking kids out of a successful 9-year program, they were saying, in effect, you'll go to your least successful Southeast schools. Our community worked very hard and came up with the Community Stop initiative, which some of you are seeing if you wonder why your kids don't get picked up in front of your houses anymore but might have to walk a block. That's so all of us can continue busing for a little longer, and especially if we have alternative or innovation schools, we can provide bigger, wider access to kids in the city to those schools. And that came out of TOPS and out of a parent group, including myself.
Okay, I need you to tie it up.
But there's so many great ideas.
I know. You'll be able to get them out.
One more. And I think Marty's going to talk more about it. I think that our math curriculum, and I'll keep it at this, is inappropriate for a large section of our community. That includes our low-income communities, and it shows it is statistically faring very poorly within the African-American community specifically. In part 2, our district places no tangible way to track an emphasis on reading by grade 3. That's my number 1. If I could only put money in one place, it would be making sure that kids can read by the time they're out of 3rd grade, because that's your building block for lifelong education. We can't track that money, and in fact, it's frankly not a priority in what we do right now.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here and for staying so late. I'm Marty McLaren. I was a middle and high school math teacher in the district. I taught from 2000 to 2002 down at South Lake, and actually was involved when we were trying to save South Lake from being closed. And then I moved over to Denny, and the community went on to save South Lake in a big way. I am running against Steve Sundquist, the board president because I know I will do a better job of listening to you, the members of the community, of keeping resources in the classroom and not allowing them to be siphoned off for special projects that were loved by people in downtown administration. And by providing fiscal responsibility that is reliable and trustworthy. I will talk a little bit about the math since two other people have talked about it. That was how I got into this, was I started testifying to the board because our math curriculum was betraying our students in such a horrible way. And this present board completely blew off the community, even though we knew what we were talking about, and they put in a very confusing math book. The present board, I'm just going to look at the big picture a bit. These people, all four of them, were heavily funded by big business. We're not talking community business, we're talking big business, people from outside of the city. And as a consequence, their whole, what they're paying attention to is what is good for big business, how to regiment our schools and make them into a more manageable market. They don't see it that way, but that's what it comes out to be. And our schools are becoming test-taking factories, when what the community clearly wants is to have schools that are centers of learning, that are the heart of the community, where the community is really connected in authentic dialogue with the school district. Let's see, what else did I want to say? I haven't gone into nearly so much detail as the other people here, but I endorse everything that each one of these amazing women has said. I've gotten to know and admire them. My message is the schoolhouse is our house, and learning together in truth, trust, and transparency, we can take back our schools and we can make sure that each child is nurtured in a stable and challenging educational environment. So I'll stop there.
Great, thank you.
Find out where the candidates stand on issues dealing with the minority community. Listen to the full forum at www.firstthursdayseattle.org.